You are listening to the Earplug Podcast Network, a Fanboys Inc production.
If you're passionate for what you love and you're serious about it, when you see our cameras at the show, then we want to talk about it. Fair weather fans need not apply. We seek nerds that are true.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Angrygeeks Show. I'm your host, Louis Perry, and inconspicuous by his absence, the one and only legendary Jeremy Courtney. But look who we got sitting next to us, the one and only Jack Purcell. What's going on, brother? Thank you for being on here. We're actually in front of a live audience today, too. Some of Jack's biggest fans are here, but they're nice and quiet, but one of them's giggling right now. Anyway, we got some hot topics. We're going to talk some wrestling. We're going to talk classic superheroes. We're going to take a quick break for Slap Pro. Have you ever seen Slap Pro? Do you know what Slap Pro is? And their invisible backing boards. This is something that every artist out there should get. Now, I do have one of your commissions, but it's framed. But say you go to a con and you get some cover work. Nice. I'm going to talk to you about this artist in a couple of minutes. Say you get some cover work. Wraparound cover, but you can't see what's in the back because of the backing boards. Slap Pro is ingenious, invisible backing boards. Not only do you see the front cover, you get to see what's on the back. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, you want to put some books on display, this is what you got to do. You go, put in the code from the Earplug Podcast Network, $7.95 for a package of 10 invisible backing boards. This is great. Any artist that does commission work, this is what you guys got to get. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with some wrestling talk and some...
Oh, sorry, I was pretending.
Oh, you were pretending to be Jeremy. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And we're back, and you are Jeremy's replacement.
I'm going to say some bad things about wrestling.
Yeah, dude, talking about wrestling. A lot of things is going on, but I was driving yesterday, and I came up with something. What was a dream match that you always wanted to see, but never happened, or if it did happen, we don't know about it? And I thought of one, and it's like, oh, this is a classic. Only true wrestling fans would even know one of the guys that I'm talking about. What is something that you always wanted to see but never saw?
Wow. I mean, I kind of never thought AJ Styles was going to make it to WWE, and I always really liked him, and saw him in indie matches and in TNA, or whatever they call it now. But I always wanted to see him against someone like Daniel Bryan, which I've never seen them fight, and it's may have happened a million times, but that was the kind of match that I always wanted to see, or Seth Rollins. I didn't really know Seth Rollins until he came to WWE, so I guess I might have a confused point of view on that.
Yeah, maybe. Because mine, I always wanted to see Tiger Mask versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
Oh, wow.
Imagine what... I mean, they could have, for all we know, for all I know, they could have had a program together, but imagine what you would see, the magic in the ring between them two guys. Now, a lot of people are probably saying, who the heck is Tiger Mask? Tiger Mask was the original WWF light heavyweight champion. Then that championship went away, and who was it? Taka Michinoku became the light heavyweight champion. That championship just dissolved, and then, of course, Tajiri, right?
Yeah, Tajiri was. Yeah, I think he had a run. There's one match happening, I think, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, in Providence, Rhode Island, that for me is kind of a current dream match. And I'm not sure if Rey Mysterio can still go. I imagine he can. But Rey Mysterio against Ricochet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's Wrestling Under Stars?
It might be like XWP, if I'm not mistaken. But they're main eventing in Providence, Rhode Island tomorrow, I think. If I've got that correct. Paul London's on the show, and some other guys who are tearing up the indies. Wow.
Now that you even say it, I mean, even Tiger Mask and Rey Mysterio would probably put on one heck of a program. That would be, wow, that's something else. I mean, I always wanted to see Brutus Beefcake just tear up the WWF, prior to his injury after he had that horrific accident.
Yeah.
I mean, they had him set up with going up against Outlaw Ron Bass. He had the program, and of course Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. The program that they could have had with him. I mean, Beefcake may not have been as talented as Bret Hart or Kurt Hennig, but I'm still thinking they would have had some great stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they could have gotten a lot of mileage out of him, and he stayed in great shape for a long time too. Even after that. And I remember meeting him backstage at a show one night, and I mean, he just has a real charisma. He's one of those guys you meet, and it's like, oh wow, there's something about that guy. Yeah, and I think he was great in the ring.
Did you get a chance to talk to him at the convention at Foxwoods?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Really?
I was sitting
Right
there,
across.
Right
across from him.
I was bumming out that Scott Hall bailed. I wanted to meet him.
Yeah, I was. Speaking of that convention, I was bummed that Nash did not had to bail. I mean,
he's on his 32nd surgery this week, so I guess his knee was bothering him, or he tore a quad again, or something. Something happened, but
I mean, I know he's still active, but he's also very big in Hollywood. So you would think that he wouldn't be so active and just do everything in Hollywood.
Yeah. I don't know what his situation is. He seems like a really talented guy. Another one who I met at a comic book convention. There was a Nash comic book. And he had a table set up promoting it, and I was with the Words and Pictures Museum at that time. And I remember just joking with him, and he found out I was a fan, and ended up having some drinks with him after the show, and he invited me to sit with him and his buddies, and really warm, cool guy.
I found that book. It was at the very first Hartford Comic Con. Found that book. It was autographed by Nash with the cert, and the guy was selling it for $1.
Wow!
It's in one of the it's in one of the many long boxes right here. I thought, what? I couldn't pass it up. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that's great.
A cert, autographed, certified for $1. Come on.
You can't do better than that.
No,
except maybe like a Warrior #1.
I got Warrior #1. I got Warrior 1, 2 in the very hard to find black and white issue #3. Jim Callahan did the art in Warrior 1 and 2. It was a pair of brothers because Callahan dropped the book with Warrior after the 3rd issue, and a pair of brothers did issue 3. They were supposed to come in and do 4, but 4, I don't think it ever got released. If it did, even I can't find it. But I wish those books got autographed. But sadly, unless Jim, was it Jim Callahan? Yes. Yeah, he was the artist. Have you ever seen the books?
I have, and as a matter of fact, somewhere in the depths of my rejection letters, I have one from the Ultimate Warrior.
No.
Yeah.
You were gonna.
I wanted to work on it because I remember seeing it and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I was just starting to, I was doing indie work and all that, and I wanted to work on it. And I remember getting a, somewhat generic rejection letter signed Warrior.
Dude, I tell you what. Issue 1 and 2, the artwork is phenomenal.
It's fun.
I love it. Issue 3, not so much. You would have rocked issue 3. Plus the story the story in the Warrior comic book was really, really cool. It's like the Warrior was in a coma and he was on another plane, and everyone in the gym was all in his gym because he was teaching the discipline of distrucity. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's not coming back to me.
Yeah.
Now.
So he was training. Excuse me. He was training everyone, and he was. You never found out why he was in this coma, but he was on this different plane, and he was fighting like wolves and all kinds of stuff. The 2nd issue happened, and like, oh my God, here you go. And then the 3rd issue came out, and it's totally different. Like, what happened? And I'm pretty sure that's why issue 4 never came out. I mean, They had pinups of him helping Santa and all kinds of really cool stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And I'm like, oh, what happened to the story? Where was it? Like, there was this little guy, very, toned. They drew him very small, lean, muscular, and this really big, jacked up guy. They were arguing because the big man was in a coma, and that was the Warrior. And it was a captivating story. What happened? What happened to the rest of it? We'll never find out.
We'll have to ask Dana. Dana Warrior, is that her name?
Dana, yeah.
Dana, yeah. Maybe she can revive it for a trade with exclusive new content.
and just continue the story. Well, he wrote. I remember Warrior wrote this big long editorial on. I'm pretty sure it was Jim Callahan who wrote the book, or maybe it was. I can't remember, but he put down Callahan as a piece of. It was wow, and it just like really tore up the artist bad. But the art was phenomenal. I mean, I'm really dug it. I'm sorry the Warrior passed away. He was. A lot of people had mixed emotions about him, about his talent in the ring, about what kind of person he was. Bret Hart said a lot of bad stuff about him, but you gotta admit, the dude was a living superhero.
Yeah, his energy was incredible. I mean, even at house shows where some guys kind of put the brakes on a little bit, he always gave it 100%. I saw him body slam Andre the Giant at a house show. It was unbelievable.
Was it in Springfield?
It was in Hartford.
It was in Hartford. Because I saw him beat Andre with 3 clotheslines in Springfield.
I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
Staring at you across the way.
Probably. I mean, you were recall like when my daughter was in the ring with Shawn Michaels. Like, I was there every time she was in the ring. It was just house shows. I think the guys pull up more stops because the camera's not there. They just have more fun. There's a lot more stuff going on with house shows instead of TV tapings. TV tapings back in the day tend to be boring, but it was also a surprise because you didn't know who was coming out.
Right, it was one after another, against enhancement talent, and now the TV shows are really different. And I'm actually taking my daughter to her first house show, 4th row seats to see Bailey, and my son's favorite, Seth Rollins, is going to be there, and some of my favorites are going to be there. So we're going to have a great time.
Well, where's this one?
It's in Worcester at the DCU.
Ah, okay. Not bad.
Neville's going to be there with a cruiserweight title match, and he's been fighting Cedric Alexander, who I'm really excited to see in WWE. Although I think they really need to work on that 205 Live show. There's a lot they could do to make that work better. Like, let those guys do what they want to do. You're seeing guys like Austin Aries ask for their release, because I think they don't know what to do with them, unfortunately.
Well, where are they going to go? I mean, they can go to House of Glory. Is TNT even still around?
I don't know. That's a good
TNA
question.
rather, not
some incarnation of them. I don't know what they're called now. But yeah, there's something.
Because I seen that Dixie Carter is supposed to be the voice that was on the phone with Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
and
that'll be interesting to see.
I don't know. All right, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. And we're back, more with Jack Purcell, a.k.a. the new legendary, on the Angry Geek Show. Speaking more about wrestling, your sketch covers, you've been doing a massive amount of wrestling ones. Now, last time we were here, we had a conversation. Anything happening with that?
No, it's still moving forward, and the truth is I've gotten sidetracked with other projects where I'm trying to create more sample work. I'm actually working on a John Cena right now, a John Cena watercolor. So I haven't, and I worked on my first trading card series with Marvel.
Were we able to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Talk about it. Let's go.
Yeah. There's a 2017 Marvel Premiere series, and I did 30 pieces that are collector item, one of a kind, so that they come randomly in different packs. So I did that. I just inked a cover that I can't talk about yet, but it's really cool.
Is that the one you showed me in the text?
Yeah,
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
And I did show, Rose was sitting there, I said, it's for my eyes only, but here. And she's like, yeah.
I trust that she's not going to go on, Bleeding Cool and tell them about it.
No. It's beautiful. Oh my God, wait till you guys see it.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I've just gotten sidetracked with other stuff, but yeah, my goal is to start doing work for WWE. We'll see how that goes.
In the ring or behind the desk?
Oh, yeah, behind the drawing table. Yeah, I got some vertebrae that wouldn't like me getting in the ring.
So, I mean, in that process, who were you talking to? Just their, probably nowhere near the talent. You're probably just talking through administrators through the office, right?
Right, yeah, people who are involved in the art and marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Because is it Boom? Because it used to be Chaos.
Well, Boom has been shown my work through WWE. They actually liked what I did, and they contacted Boom. So I haven't directly spoken with Boom, which is weird. So yeah, it's worked in a kind of funny way, but I'm going to try to connect with Boom as well. That's been a very elusive company to connect with. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'd love to do something in those comics, especially because my kids read them, so it'd be a fun thing for me to be able to do. But yeah, we'll see. The goal is I'm going to get something going with WWE, and I may even show up at Titan Tower one of these days.
I know where it is.
Maybe I'll run into Scott Stanford.
I did.
I'm just kidding.
Titan Tower is easy to get to. Back in the day, you had to make an appointment because the doorman would not let you in. Because they used to record Tuesday Night Titans right upstairs.
Nice.
Did you remember Tuesday Night
I
Titans?
do.
Yeah, Tuesday Night Titans, for you guys out there, the younger audiences, Tuesday Night Titans was a talk show. And it was hosted Vince McMahon, Lord Alfred Hayes, and Gorilla Monsoon. Then it became Gorilla Monsoon because it came Monday Night Primetime Wrestling afterwards. And it was Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon with Roddy Piper in the other room at times.
That was fun. That was fun.
That was good stuff. That's when, to me, that's when wrestling was grand. That was the golden age of professional wrestling, because that's when it was fun. Today, I don't think they have the heart that they had in the 80s or the 70s. I mean, what is your thought? Do you think the guys today have the heart? Even in the 90s, do you think they have the heart?
It's really different. I mean, like the charisma and performer level I don't think they'll ever usurp what was done in the 80s. And the 90s had an amazingly deep roster of true talent, too. Guys who were great performers and great athletes.
Sean, Brett, Austin,
Taker.
The Taker, Rock, Brian Pillman. I mean, then you had the guys from the 80s that really stepped up their games, like Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah.
Nash, for crying out loud, Scott Hall. They stepped it up, and even Triple H. I mean, look at him terrorizing. Well, that was his first name, terrorizing.
Yeah.
Terrorizing. John Paul Levesque. Then he came in first match against the Warrior, WrestleMania 12.
Yeah.
And he was beaten 3 minutes. Now look at him.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think there's a lot of debates about why he's in the position he's in. I think he's a great talent, but I remember seeing his very first appearance at the old Boston Garden, and he wrestled the opening match against an enhancement talent. And I remember specifically it was called A Night to Remember because it was the last WWE show in the Garden. I think Kevin Nash was the champion at that time, and Triple H, or the Blue Blood, whatever they were calling him at that point, came out and he threw like a couple kicks at the preliminary wrestler he was fighting, and then tripped over him and fell down. And I remember thinking, this guy's going nowhere. Like, he's a mess, and he'll always be the curtain jerker. But I was very much wrong. But it was funny. My first impression of him is like, this guy is not going to last in WWE. Like, he'll go back to whatever WCW or wherever he came from at that time.
So do you think the click had a lot to do with it? Becoming
yeah,
friends with
for
Sean?
sure. Absolutely. I think that's a huge part of it. But he also did rise to the occasion. I think he knew how to play politically really well. I think he's smart. I think he has a real passion for wrestling. And I think that there's a lot of factors. And he looks like $1 million. He was a bodybuilder from day one. So he had a lot of the main components.
WrestleMania 11, or was it 12, Hartford Civic Center? 11. Main event was Shawn against Nash. Nash retained the title. Jenny McCarthy, Pam Anderson walked into the ring.
I blocked that one out.
Co-main event was Bob Backlund against Bret Hart in an I Quit match.
Right.
And it was The Taker versus the $1 Million Family, but it was King Kong Bundy. Is when they had the urn with the light flashing everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, no, and the main event was, was LT against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh.
That was the main event. During that whole WrestleMania weekend at Hartford, I went to FanFest. And Friday night, I'm walking around, and there was Hunter all by himself, just standing there in the middle of the crowd, up against the wall, just watching everybody. And I'm looking, and said to a friend of mine, and I look, I'm like, that's terrorizing. And she looks over, my sister actually, she looks over and she goes, that is. Walked over, shook his hand, everything was fine. Now back then, if I got his autograph, it would have been terrorizing. It would, because he still didn't have, you know, the HHH. Because even, it was Triple H to introduce Sable.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yes,
that.
because he blamed Sable. Because this is how they start off the program with Mark Marrow, or Johnny B. Bad. During WrestleMania, he blamed Sable for being defeated by the Warriors so quickly.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Fountain of useless information.
Yeah.
I mean, Rose would say, you don't remember that? Yeah, he blamed Sable for being beaten so quickly. Mark Marrow comes out, saves Sable. That's how Sable and Marrow got together.
Right, okay.
That's how they introduced her, was at that WrestleMania.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, Mark Marrow was another one of those guys, I think, you know, much like today. I think today the era is different where, like, guys like Mark Marrow, I think, could have made a better run if they were allowed to do what they do well. Like, guys like the 205 Live thing they have happening right now. There's some amazing guys who have been tearing up the indies for a long time, but they're trying to squeeze them into the WWE main roster format, which doesn't work to limit guys like that, because they've got the kind of repertoire where they can go and be spontaneous in the same way where they don't let the guys be as spontaneous with the promos. And I think that's where, you know, the NWA and all that was so great back in the day of the Four Horsemen. Like, they could just let those guys go and see where the storylines went. It wasn't so predetermined as it seems to be now. It seems to be much more rigid, and the guys feel like almost cardboard cutouts a lot of the time. But like the main roster, there's so many guys who are great, like Kevin Owens and Neville, who they just don't allow to do what they do so well. I mean, I remember introducing my son to Kevin Steen at the time and showing him, like, this guy has like 100 different moves. And what do you see him do on WWE? The same 8 moves every time.
That's what they said about Brett. Same moves. Backbreaker, elbow from the middle rope, sharpshooter.
Right.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Look at that live studio audience. One of the biggest ones ever for us, right? Because the legendary Jeremy Courtney isn't here. Dude, that just, it flew by.
It did fly by, I know. And I don't have people, you know,
interrupting us when we're talking.
Nitpicking me about my Batman comics and browbeating me over professional wrestling. Yeah, things flow.
Yeah, it did. It flew really, really good. All right, what do you got? What do you want to push? What kind of wares do you want to peddle before we wrap up? So Public Access TV can see this stuff, and so that the Earplug Podcast Network can hear you. What do you want to do?
Well, I really appreciate being back in here. This is a lot of fun for me. Malice and Mistletoe, if you're not aware of it, it's really cool. Amazon.com has Malice and Mistletoe available, as well as contact me directly if we're friends on Facebook or Instagram. If not, shame on you. You should immediately find me on there. There's a Jack Purcell art page on Facebook. And I
there is?
There sure is. And I was going to say, I'm going to talk to you later. But especially on Instagram, I post a lot of process shots of a lot of my work. So if you're interested in seeing a piece,
but you're not topless.
No topless shots yet. No. No, I don't think there's any. No, I'm going to try to keep it that way. But yeah, and actually, there may be a new tattoo coming, so there might be a naked arm.
New tattoo.
But that's about it. And it's actually related to Malice and Mistletoe.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll show you that. But really, that's about it right now. But if you're interested in the WWE, if you're a wrestling person at all, I definitely show a lot of my stuff there. There's a new Alexa Bliss piece that I finished that's fun. So yeah. Yeah, she's got the skeleton glove on, and
oh, there it is, right there. I just pulled it up.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, look
cool.
at that.
So I'm going to be doing more stuff like that. John Cena's next, and you know, if you can't, we'll see that. Yeah. So Malice and Mistletoe, check it out. I'm not doing a lot of conventions this year, so I'll be in Utica, New York in October. If you're in that area, come by, see me. It's my first time there. But otherwise, I'll be doing some store signings.
Tell them the Angrygeeks sent you, and you get a free backing board with your commission. How about that? All sketch covers, you get a free backing board.
Nice. Even a wraparound.
even wraparound. Look at that. Anyway, this is Lewis Ford missing inconspicuously. Jeremy Courtney driving cross country. If you see a white minivan in your area, don't be alarmed. It's just Jeremy. Make sure you pick up Slab Pro, like I said, especially if you're going to get a commission from Jack. Get that Slab Pro backing board. Wrap around, man. This is like... Oh, one thing though. You get the backing boards, there's a film on it. Now, this makes me feel real stupid that Jeremy actually had to teach me about this. First time I got the backing board, I put it in, and I'm like, it's not really clear. It's kind of blurry. It's because there's a film at it. You got to peel the film off on both sides, and boom, it becomes nice, crystal clear, invisible. Make sure you get them. There's the link right there. 10-pack, $7.95. You can't beat it. Make sure you get it. Make sure you contact Jack for commissions. You're open for commissions, right?
I am open.
You draw anything?
I draw just about anything, yeah. I mean, aside from any inappropriate situations between Superman and Wonder Woman, yeah. We don't do that.
Jack Purcell, Lois Perry, Angrygeeks Show, only on the Earplug Podcast Network. Thank you. Live studio audience, look at the camera and say hi.
Hi.
No, get into the shot. Get into the shot and say hi. There you go. Say hi. Quick.
Hi.
Let's go get some pizza. We'll see you next week.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.